guys, here we go. We got a little bit of a Steven Crowder update on his situation with his wife. Whoa. People sent it to me. I'm curious. Obviously, as you guys know, and I guess I can link it in the thing, Crowder been having a little bit of a rough time lately. He initially came out with a video talking about how his wife is leaving him, that it is her decision. He would never do that. And basically the tone is, the way that I perceived it, was, hey guys, I'm a good conservative. I'm a good conservative. I would never leave my wife. I'm devoted with her forever. Well, it turns out the wife came forward and, which, by the way, it was his fault. He shouldn't have been making all this so public, all this personal stuff. Say, you got a divorce, it is what it is. You just move on from that. But he decided to air his dirty laundry, so the wife came forward and released a couple-minute clip about how when she was pregnant one day, he was berating her in a way that is wrong and toxic. I think that maybe some of the criticism might be disproportionate, going a little crazy, but at the end of the day, this is bad behavior, and I think that people that are trying too hard to defend this is weird. That's bad behavior. I don't think that Steven Crowder is irredeemable. I actually hope that he gets his stuff together. Maybe he sees, I don't know, a therapist or something, to be better. You shouldn't be berating your wife. You shouldn't be talking about how she's not doing enough around the house or whatever, so she can't use the car. It was this weird punishment, from what I remember, that she was like, he was like, you can't use the car, basically because she's punished. That's insane that you would treat your wife like a child like that. Or maybe he's just practicing for the baby that's coming. But anyway, this says, apparently Steven Crowder's ran video reveals pathetic pattern of abuse, and then I guess ex-staff came forward. So, yeah, this is from yesterday. Let's see what we got. In the footage from June 2021, he tells her to freaking watch it and accuses her of refusing to do wifey things while telling her he doesn't love her. Very mean stuff. That's one of the big things, though, right? Telling somebody that you don't love them is either an active act of like, I don't love you, let's not be together, or it's a manipulation tactic. I don't know how you could defend that. I don't love you. Unless you don't care about love, whatever. But telling somebody that you don't love them, like, that is hurtful. I don't know. It's like hard to. It's not like a hot take. It's really hurtful when the person that you married, that you love, tells you that they don't love you back. That is probably the worst thing my wife could tell me. That would devastate me. I think that would devastate most people. And so that's really shitty. I don't know if that by itself would be considered abusive, but it's like a horrible thing to say to somebody. And even if that's what you do when you get angry, then you need to get your anger together. Anyway, at the time, she was 8 months pregnant with her twins. Her family released a statement saying she had been hiding his mentally and emotionally abusive behavior from her and her friends and family. The pair, who married in 2012, have been locked in a contentious divorce since 2021. Crowder claimed the disturbing footage, which was released from a journalist, was misleadingly edited. Okay. But numerous former employees of the provocateur alleged these types of unhinged tirades were commonplace inside the Lewd Crowder office. Yeah, that's one of the things, is that, like, from what the Candace Owens, she was talking about how they seemed to be like an underlying issue where he was always kind of a dickhead, and they just kind of dealt with it. But also, this was ring footage. Why doesn't Crowder just get a hold of it and release the full thing then? His best argument is like, I was angry and I think people should have the right to be able to be angry. And I'll be like, okay, but I still think it's like bad. I don't think it's career ending. That's not good. I'm not shocked, but it was pathetic what he did to Hillary. A former employee told the Post that might not be the Steven you see on a show, but that was the real Steven. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by the way that he makes jokes about, people dying and whatnot. Is even that funny, by the way? You know what I mean? I think I've seen funnier stuff from Ben Shapiro. I don't know. What is going on with him? I don't know. The Post spoke to 10 former employees who claimed Crowder ran an abusive company where he often screamed at his employees, including his own father. I would scream at my own father as well. I would hit him too. I would never do that. That's illegal. But exposed his genitals. I wonder what that means. Sent out directives to arbitrarily fire people and made underlings wash his dirty laundry. That's a lot of stuff. I don't know. That's just a lot. I don't know if I take that immediately at face value. These situations have a tendency to kind of just stack upon themselves. You know, where somebody did a bad thing. Okay. Everybody's on board with it, right? Like everybody's just criticizing Crowder. He has no defense. Now everybody dog piles, right? That's kind of how that doesn't mean that this is not true, but what I'm saying is that I'm a little skeptical. Like, what does it mean that he exposed the generals? Did he whip his fucking cock out and started rubbing it on people, or did like he take a piss? I don't know. You know what I mean? I just don't know. You know, telling people his underlings to wash his dirty laundry. Like, I wouldn't really care if he had his I don't know, what is it called? Not, you know what I mean? I don't know, arbitrarily firing people. You know, I don't know what that means. Are you saying that he fired people because he didn't like them and then he hired other people, or did he need to fire people for the work? It's shit like that happens. Was it Louis C.K. style where he's like, "Can I jerk off in front of you?" and just started jerking off in front of you, like looking at you like this? POV, you're the POV. I'm the guy. I'm Louis C.K. I still like Louis C.K. He did a bad thing. I'm happy he apologized. What the fuck were you thinking, bro? Christ, how terrible. Okay. I've officially uncanceled Louis C.K., by the way. Jesus Christ. The former staffers worked for the show at different times from its inception 2016 through 2022. The vast majority had left the company voluntarily. They requested anonymity because they either feared retaliation or had signed non-disclosure agreements. If they had signed a non-disclosure agreement, then they shouldn't be talking about this, right? Like that's just dumb for them to be able to do. But I guess they're being anonymous and ambiguous about it. But that, to me, is this thing I like to call silly goosery. Okay, what I like to call silly goosery. All said they felt compelled to speak out about the media personality after the sickening footage was made public, and his former co-host Dave Landau called him a bully in an interview last week. Oh, really? Wait, who's Dave Landau? They called him a bully. I wouldn't doubt it. Dave Landau. Oh, this guy is a real dumb piece of shit asshole. So, you know, if a dumb piece of shit asshole is calling you a bully, you must be a real bad guy. Okay. In an interview last week, we don't want Steven to suffer. We just want the abuse to stop, or at least let future employees know what they're getting themselves into, said one former employee. The Post reached out to Crowder via his lawyer, as well as Louder with Crowder CEO Gerald Morgan, multiple times about the allegations brought forth by former employees, but did not receive a response. The 35-year-old American-Canadian right-wing content creator who bills himself as a devout Christian was a child actor who started doing stand-up at 17. Why are so many conservatives like actors? Steven Crowder, Brett Fraser? No. Brett, the girl Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. I think he was gay in a movie. Probably, I think it was a biography about himself or an autobiography. Is that called? Why are they so many of them actors? So bizarre. And I guess everybody wants to be an actor. You know. In 2009, he became a Fox News contributor, writing essays in defense of abstinence. Oh, not doing sex stuff? Okay. Failed actors, I'm sorry. And in 2014, he started doing a weekly podcast broadcast by a conservative radio station in Michigan and gained a larger following. Damn, look at him here. He looks like he's going to kill me. I think I'm going to die. Look at this. What a beautiful picture. Steven Crowder looks psychotic, possibly doesn't even love his wife, because I don't think he might be gay. Brent Cooper? You know. I'm not saying to disparage them, but there's so many of them that are like, oh my God, like, didn't he admit he had bisexual feeling? He probably is kind of gay, and he just wishes that he didn't have to be conservative, but he's already hit the grift so hard. The Gwitty, but with an R. Well, Gritty has an R. The Grifty, F, whatever. Put F's in the chat, guys. Oh, wow, I'm a real Twitch user. I'm on YouTube. Anyway, it's possible. Okay, because there's actually a statistic out there that says that blonde white women disproportionately marry gay guys at higher rates than anybody else. I made that up, but you believed it. It's true. You just feel it in your soul. Anyway, maybe that's why he's so angry, because he wants to fuck guys or get fucked, you know? I'm thinking a filter would be necessary here, but I'm not gonna lie. My wife put a finger in there, and it's, you know, a little while ago, and it wasn't too bad. I was like, okay, am I gay? Felt very gay. That's me struggling with my masculinity, to be honest with you. But I get it, kind of. But a finger is not as large as a cute dill pickle, or Dale's pickle, if you know what I'm saying. Crowder, I don't know. I guess he likes a guy named Dale. Anyway, the point is that in November 2016, Crowder moved to Texas, hired a small team, and turned Louder with Crowder into a full production arm, creating comedic sketches, a podcast, and his popular Change My Mind videos. Crowder, who has 1.3 million Instagram followers and 5.9 million on YouTube, became wildly influential among conservatives. I think it's supposed to say amongst conservatives, who were dazzled. Oh, I like that. By his brash, contrarian takes, irreverent approaches, and crusades against big technology. Don't tell me to stop. Shut the fuck up. My wife didn't get into my ass in the prostate. She didn't get that deep in there. Okay, relax. You guys are really weird. Okay, I poop from there. Pooping feels good. If pooping didn't feel good, we wouldn't poop. The peeing feels good. It's relieving. Just a reverse poop. Why are we talking about this? Cut it. Cut this, editor. People thought he was funny, and he could be, especially if you were watching from the outside, said an early staffer. But inside the Dallas-based Crowder universe, many said he was like a yo-yo. Black? Like, yo, what's up? Like that. Okay. Charismatic and kind at times of... is that volatile? Oh, volatile. It's weird. A volatile Crowder could also be controlling and capable of working every angle of your emotions. With long hours, unrealistic expectations, and emotional outbursts, he often burned through staffers, many of whom were young, starry-eyed fans who had never worked in traditional media and relocated to Texas for the opportunity to work with their hero. Wow, that's kind of cringe. And while the Louder with Crowder ethos was politically incorrect, his antics crossed the line. He was known to expose his genitals to staffers. Many ex-employees told, like, how? 6 sources said they witnessed such lewd behavior. What does that mean, he would expose his genitals? Like, you got to give me more. You got to give me more. Okay, maybe he was suntanning. A former staffer recalled driving back from Illinois in a van after a college show in 2018, and when former producer Jared Monroe, whom Crowder dubbed Not Gay Jared, was targeted. Probably the donation that just came in is wild, but it's actually very funny to me. I'm waiting for it to play through, but it's from somebody called
Ambachuk super chatted $5. Thank you, Papagut. Thank you so much. That might be just what I need to buzz.
Why did you make that account? Did you seriously make a new YouTube account just so that you could name yourself I'm About to Come, just so you could donate $5 to me? That's wild. I'm about to come. Bro, I'm About to Come meme is wild. I'm trying to find more. I'm about to come. Okay. Jesus Christ. Wild day today. Jared was asleep in the last row. Steven was in front, and he was joking about what he was going to do, the staffer recalled. He climbed over and dropped his junk on top of Jared's shoulders. Oh, Steven Crowder is it's like Jackass. I need a dick in me, yeah. It's like Jackass. Okay, it's wrong. It's not as bad as like some kind of like sexual way, but like this is immature. I think is probably like at the very least is grossly immature and unprofessional. And he shouldn't be performing like Jackass type stunts on his like show. Puts people into a weird position because they kind of have to put up with it. Jackass, I think, is like the only prank channel, like prank people on that channel, but that did it right. Everybody seemed to be on board with what they were doing. Everything was cool, but this is just fucking weird, bro. That same person also claimed Crowder exposed himself to Jared in 2017 while they're in a green screen room filming a parody of Ghost. When asked about both allegations, Burroughs said told no comment. Okay. Cool. And during 2018 flight with 6 people from the company, another former employee said they witnessed Crowder put his testicles on his assistant and childhood friend John Goodman. Holy fuck! I didn't know John Goodman. I didn't know Dan Connor was. I don't know. He was cool like that. Who shook off the incident. Goodman, who still works for Crowder, did not Return the post request for comment. Yeah, I mean, it sounded like that these were childish, immature antics. What the fuck? Who is this person? John Goodman. I'm trying to take a look at this person, but I keep just getting regular John Goodman up there. I guess he's not on there. It's still inappropriate, but it, the way that it sounds much worse than it actually is, but it's still not good. You shouldn't be doing that. It's immature. A fourth ex-employee said Crowder exposed himself to former co-host Landau at the conference table with others present. Landau did not respond. Okay. It was childish, but then I found out that this was something he did. At first, I took it as him trying to be friendly or one of the guys. I don't really put my balls on people to be friendly. Now I see it was a power play. Maybe. That's a little, I don't know if that's true. That might not be true. If your manager at Red Lobster did this, it would be on national news. Well, yes, because Red Lobster is professional and Steven Crowder is not. Numerous sources noted these incidents were not part of any sketches, many of which could be bawdy and off-color. Wow. But Crowder, sources said, is often known for blurring the lines of professionalism. That's a nice way of saying he's unprofessional. Numerous former employees said his production assistants washed laundry in the office, including Crowder's dirty personal items. That I don't care about. Many describe Crowder not as a tough boss, but an unreasonable micromanager who would send out unrealistic assignments after hours and set people up for failure. It was like a cult where you were all in, said one ex-employee, adding to Crowder, did not want you having any life outside of it. So, listen, let me sit back. It's possible that Steven Crowder would overburden people with work and give you unrealistic amounts of work so that he could have some kind of a power control over you so that you couldn't have a personal life. It's possible. Is it likely? I don't know. It's more likely to me, and I could be wrong, but that he would just give him a lot of work because he had unreasonable expectations and he was a dumb dickhead. You know what I mean? This is possible. I just think that it's like a 90-10 scenario, and that might even be a little too high. But I don't think that, you know what I mean? In 2017, he commissioned his small team to create a 30-minute A Christmas Carol parody on top of their regular workload. Only a half an hour, you dingus. A few ex-employees, none of whom were paid overtime, said they logged over 100 hours in the week leading up to the release of the special and slept in the office, according to multiple sources. Jesus. In the midst of the project, Crowder sent a group text telling them to sleep in and come into the office a bit later one day. One employee remarked, "Sleep, LOL." Crowder shot back, "Be a little grateful, buddy." Damn. Be a little grateful, buddy. I could just imagine him saying it, like just a condescending dickhead ready to explode. Be a little grateful, buddy. All right. I'm going to put my balls on your head. Hey, is that his dad? Oh my God, Steven, bro. I don't mean to be that guy, but dude, I don't want to bring it up, bro. I'm not trying to be that guy, but dude, look at this fucking stare. I've seen this stare before. It looks so familiar. It looks so familiar. Right? I don't know if I could be able to find it. But it's like soulless. It's heartless. It's hateful. It's just empty. It's vapid. And yet it's so familiar. I don't know if anybody else knows who I'm talking about. I'm vague posting right now. But there is an excited death in those eyes. There's something empty about those eyes. It's something. Anyway, let's continue. My sussy baka. Look at the pup. Beautiful little boy. The exchange seen by the Post angered the team, who turned it into an oft-repeated joke when they felt undervalued and overworked. And when shows or project fell short of his expectations, Crowder piled the blame on his staffers. We tell him things wouldn't work, said one staffer, who recalls a massive live show in 2018 not going as Crowder had planned. I thought surely Steven, who micromanaged the whole thing, is going to take some responsibility here, they continued. Instead, Crowder put the onus onto his staff. His assistant handed each employee a copy of Jocko's Willink's leadership and performance book, Extreme Ownership and How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. Oh, okay. So it sounds like Crowder is an asshole. That has way too high expectations. We all thought we were going to get an apology, but we got a book. It was like a sitcom the former staffer cracked. Wow. Back in late 2020, well, I mean, if he at least paid these people well, that would be one thing, but it sounds like he didn't, since they said that he wouldn't give overtime. Unless he just paid them a lot. I don't know. Back in late 2020, while on its hair, Crowder sent out a directive to arbitrarily fire somebody, don't care who. Read the Discord message, reviewed the post. The source said Crowder often dropped threats to fire people in the company's Discord chat room. Like, listen, that might be true. This reads to me as somebody needs to get fired. He's telling somebody who does the firing to fire somebody because they don't have money. But I could be wrong because it's late 2020. That was a pretty financially big year, but probably 2020 was huge. His irrational outburst even extended to his father, Darren, dumb name, who works. It says that, by the way. I didn't make that part up. Who works as his booker. Numerous ex-staffers said he lashed out at his dad in front of the other employees. Darren, who still works with his son, did not respond to the post request for comment. Here's an interesting thing. What a weird thing, okay? Let me tell you something. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, I've had fights with my mother before. I think we've all had fights with our parents. But there's just something in front of people, never. You know what I mean? Like, there's something there that I don't think any of us would ever do, especially since my mother would beat me to death, and that's how it should be, right? So the fact that his father put up with this is insane to me. And I have a theory why. Think about this, okay? Think about this, okay? This is going to get a little interesting, okay? It's all going to make sense. I'm going to connect it. When I was younger, a family member of mine, while I was in the bathtub, took a wee-wee in the bathroom. I was like very young, but I remember it. And what I remember specifically is seeing that family member's penis. Nothing sexual, so you chill the fuck out. And I remember thinking that thing was huge because I was like 5. Right? Just follow me here. It's going to go somewhere. Just follow me here. Okay? As I got older, I always thought it was really big, and I always respected him just because of that. You know? I wouldn't remember it actively, but there was always something there. Because I always would think, like, oh, it's so much bigger than mine. Because I'm, you know. And I think that that's a deliberate tactic that you can do as a man. Just go pee in front of, like, a kid. That's in your family. But now this is getting, okay, maybe don't. Now that I think about it, it's weird. But anyway, they'll think your dick is huge for the rest forever. They're always going to feel insecure around you. They're always going to listen to you. Now that spins into another thing of there's this story. I think it was on TLC. It's a dominant strategy. Okay. There was this story on TLC, I think, or something like that, of this kid who came out of his mom's vagina. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's normal. Usually, you know, we're debating on a C-section, but that's my wife's call. But what's interesting about this is that she had what she describes as the most incredible orgasm ever. Now, that's weird, but think about this. It was so good that she had another kid explicitly to have another incredible birthing orgasm. Now, you might think, Papa God, what does this have to do? How does this connect? But you have to think about this. Because the dad that had the baby, that gave his wife the best orgasm of her life, he can never pull. That's basically the kid pulled the penis power play. Right? Dad tries to tell you something. I made mom come. He's always going to feel insecure, whether it's active or passively, because the kid made his wife come so hard that she wanted to have another fucking baby. That's wild. That baby was Steven Crowder. And that's why the dad puts up with Steven Crowder yelling in front of him. That's why the dad lets him do that. It's fucking wild. That's fucking wild. You have to hear what I'm saying. Listen. Open up your fucking minds, bro. Open up your fucking mind. Wow. It's wild. Isn't that incredible? Also, she looks like the girl that falsely claimed somebody kidnapped her kids. So, how funny is that? He did it regularly, and it was usually about failing to book somebody who wanted he wanted on the show. Steve would say, I'm supposed to get stars. Recalled one ex-staffer who said he was approached by two other underlings who said Crowder's behavior towards his father made them feel uncomfortable. Last week, Crowder's ex-co-host Landau called his former boss a bully on an episode of a podcast, You're Welcome with Michael Malice. Whatever he has and whatever he's going through, I think he was bullied at some point in his life, Landau said, adding, he's become the bully and doesn't realize it. Damn. Incredible. Landau detailed how Crowder installed a Dave Don't Talk button in the studio and always had to get the last word in. What? But perhaps the most bizarre incident came after Crowder, who was scheduled to miss a show, signed off on a comedian, Matt Crowley, to fill in for Landau. Who's Matt Crowley? Matt McClo. Fuck this. Fuck it. Fuck it, dude. Fuck. Can't even speak. Okay, I don't even know who this guy is. He's an Irish guy. Who would have guessed with a name like McClowry? When Crowder's assistant later said no to McClowry's appearance on, and Landau asked Crowder about it, the conservative personality unleashed on his co-host. Wait, when Crowder's assistant later said no to McClowry's appearance, they said no, like he couldn't do it, or they said no, he wouldn't show up. Okay. He told me he owns me. It was venomous. I saw a different person that I had rumors about, Landau told Malice. Oh, okay. Are you talking about Landau? Whatever. Even before his recent divorce drama. So wait, are we saying that Landau guy said, don't have that guy come on, I don't like him or something, and Crowder fucking went berserk? Well, that's weird. That's weird. He told me he owns me, I'm venomous. I saw a different person that I had heard rumors about, Landau told Malice. Even before his recent divorce drama, Crowder had raised eyebrows by going after fellow conservative media titans. In January, Crowder, whose contract with Blaze was set up, launched the Stop Big Con initiative, to which he accused another conservative outlet, later revealed to be Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire, of offering a $50 million slave contract. $50 million slave contract, guys. By this logic, Steven Crowder has to admit, this is like wild, that systemic racism exists and that basketball players are just owned by white people still. Slavery exists still to this day. Reparations, baby. Maybe. I don't know. I said reparations, maybe. Relax, okay? I'm not that woke. How the fuck are you in this $50 million slave contract? Holy shit. They just said if you get demonetized, you lose money, idiot. No, Crowder said he don't have him come on and said he owns him. Oh, okay. Interesting. He's just an alpha male gamer. Yeah, true. In March, he signed on free. What is that? I'm so confused. Like, was that what he was saying? He signed off on the comedian to fill in for Landau. Fill in with Landau. When Crowder's assistant later said no to McClowry's appearance, and Landau asked Crowder about it, he heard his personality unleashed on his co-host. Oh. That's weird. It's really bizarre. In March, he signed on free speech platform Rumble, and in an interview with Megyn Kelly, he said that his crusade was not about me, it was about the next creator pretending to care about other people. We all laughed when he said stuff like that. If you were funny or talented, he squashed you, said a source. Okay. One former employee said they weren't doing sketches they wanted to do, so they teamed up with Landau to create a sketch comedy pilot released last December. Steven freaked out and threatened to fire people over it. It was viewed as a mutiny. Oh, so they all just like worked on an outside project without Crowder, and he went ballistic. It was Landau's friend. Okay, I see. The whole thing's confusing based on the wording. I'm just dumb. Said the explanation. Another source noted it was made on their own time with their own equipment and did not use company resources. Dave was told, this was your fault. We have to fire them now. What the fuck? Jesus. Eventually, the original source said Crowder backed down. In April, Landau announced he left the company and is going to Blaze. This is weird. If he fired a bunch of people because they got together and did like an outside project without any his resources, that actually is very controlling. That's sus. That's sus. That's a little bit. If you liked it that much, you should have just bought it. Played it on your own show, pussy. That doesn't seem like someone who was trying to build up content creators, said the source. Many blame his public unraveling on his habit of purging anyone who challenges him. These terrible ideas and moves have always been in his nature, but all over time he has surrounded himself with only yes men and his family who works for him. They don't tell him otherwise, so the next step for adding, there is no one there to hold him accountable. Hold him to account. You know what's interesting? Remember a while back when Ethan's like, I'll debate you, Crowder, and then had Sam Cedar come on, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cringe because, you know, you said you debate him and then you had Cedar come on. What's interesting, though, and it's stuck in my mind, but I guess I'll say now, is if you look back at that, Crowder is a fucking pussy because the way he interacts is like kind of like a little poo-poo baby. Kind of sits there. He doesn't really get mad. He doesn't really outburst. He doesn't really hold his ground. He's just like, oh, he puts on like his like, oh, it's like a toddler voice if you look at the inflection of his voice. And it was always interesting to me, and it's like that kind of makes sense. Like, he's just gonna he's because he's a pussy. He's not like a kind of guy who gets mad at everybody. He just gets mad at people who he thinks is weaker than him. But when he's in a situation like that, he won't like actually like stand up for himself. He'll just play like I'm just a dumb baby. I said I couldn't talk to Sam Cedar, and he'll put on this little like goo goo gaga voice. He'll say he wants a little bit of milk, by the way. Okay. I think that's it though. Unless you guys want to read the ads.